Okay.
Awesome. Hey, what's up, Tina? How are you?
It's a hat kind of day for me. Do you know
Good.
what that means?
No,
It's a hat kind of
no. Tell me, what does that mean?
day. For me, a hat kind of day means I'm doing like all kinds of the business stuff that I really don't like to do. The tough stuff for me. So I hired a personal assistant to help me with my social media. And she needs to know all the passwords. And passwords for me are a nightmare. Like I can lose 2 hours over getting
Yes,
things to talk to each other.
a whole day.
And of course, in order for her to help me, she needs all of my passwords, which I don't know.
So you're
um,
you're all
so,
getting them.
so when I say it's a hat kind of day, I'm doing housekeeping, but not like housekeeping. I'm doing business housekeeping.
Good deal.
Stuff that's really challenging for me to do. And it's like, I don't want to deal with the hair and the makeup and the whole 9 yards. I just want a hat and make it as simple and comfortable as I possibly can.
Yeah. I like that's why we do what we do, Tina, so that we can have these days that we don't have to worry about other people like judging us for what we're wearing or or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal, good deal. So I just sent you over a small email about kind of the topics that I wanted to go over today on our Art of Transformation podcast episode here. Some of the things that we've gone over in the past, right? So all the different types of topics that we've briefly touched on, because I know there's so much more there too. Like I know there's a massive amount of information, but catering it to a public, it's like catering it so that everybody can really either chime in or relate to it, right? Like this is the thing. Like we're trying to make it so that people can have it accessible to them more than anything, right? So cool. Well, let me get my notes out real quick, and then we can get going here. And yeah, we've gone over a ton of topics that I I didn't realize how much information we've really gone over, which is really astounding. I love it.
Yeah. And when we get to the point that people are actually sending questions in, because we're having very candid conversations.
Yeah.
But there's a level of understanding that is new, and that's what we're trying to create. And if somebody can look at their own life and then start to ask questions how this information applies to them, that's when the understanding really occurs, I believe.
So let's see, we've gone over neurodiverse relationships. We've talked a little bit about open-mindedness. We've talked about the importance of clarity, some of the things that happen in relationships with intention, then the real understanding of what intention looks like, from a person in a relationship and a person outside of the relationship. Those two different, very different views. It's like how that can be confusing for the person in the relationship, and especially for all the people outside of it as well. Now, the importance of holding space for another individual in a relationship. We tapped on that in in man and woman relationships and all different types of relationships, right? How important listening is, right? When you're talking about holding space, how important it is to to listen to the individual and to recognize what they're trying to tell you. My butt was saved so many times this week because I put that into practice, because I took a moment to reflect, just to step back and realize what each person was actually saying, instead of interjecting, or instead of just assuming what they were going to say next or finishing their sentence.
Right.
And that helped me out a ton this week. And it clarified so many things that could have gone south or bad. It's like, because there's so many times that I've began to try to solve something, like you were saying before, right? As a
Yeah.
man. And that's not what's needed in that particular situation at all. It's what's actually needed is something else. And I was looking for that something else. It's like I was really listening. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I want to tie all this into soap operas though. That's that's the goal here. I want to be able to it's like to really tap onto into each person's kind of preference. It's like different people talk differently, people have different like communication strategies and personalities. So developing a person's personality is really important for me when I'm communicating with them, right? Because that's one of the main things that my personal allies have a difficulty with: confidence, right? How do you build that confidence? How do you develop that confidence? And that's really what I wanted to get to this week. So I have a question for you. How many happy people do you know? Because I consider you to be a happy person.
Wow, thank you.
Yes, you're always smiling. You're always smiling, and you're always very generous. So what would you consider to be a happy person in your life?
Someone that I know that's a happy person in my life.
Well, not just a happy person, but that's not just happy